This is the weirdest podcast I've ever made. I made some odd ones too. I first saw this story that there was a Yeti blood oath scandal at a Denver seminary. When I saw this, I said, oh, there must be some Protestant seminary. They're doing some New Age blood oath ceremony. And then I heard it was a Catholic seminary. It's a Catholic seminary that I visited many times, St. John Vianney in Denver, Catholic seminary in Denver, and a priest who is a professor there. We're going to look at his academic record as well. This is him here, Father Neple. Here's what we know. A video was made. This priest, and this is all I'm reading from The Pillar. I believe they broke the story first. And so if you want to learn more about it, go to pillarcatholic.com and you can read their full report here. But I'm just reading here from The Pillar. It says, in January of 2024, Father Neple, that's this priest right here, took some 15 seminarians on a ski trip to a house in the mountains in the Crested Butte area, belonging to a Catholic family close to Father Neple, according to several clergy familiar with events. And then here's where it gets weird. In the middle of the night, the seminarians were woken and told to sit in silence in the living room before being invited individually into a trailer on the house's grounds. When they entered the trailer, the seminarians were met by Father Neple, who can be seen in the video setting up a camera and recording the occasion, along with a senior seminarian and participant on the trip, and a person dressed in a Yeti costume. What the actual H to the no is this? All right, here is the guy in the Yeti costume. Do people in Colorado do this stuff? It's weird. And then here is the blood oath. This is actually from the video. There's a dagger, there's a paper, and there's blood. It turns out, I think it's fake blood or bear blood or something. What's going on in the seminaries? I mean, the seminary in Denver is rumored to be like the best seminary in America. And we're having a dude in a Yeti costume, and we got a blood oath going on. They're waking up seminarians in the middle of the night, taking them out to a trailer. I mean, a couple years back, there was a bunch of seminarians. Where were they? I can't remember. They were all dressing up in their footed pajamas, and they were doing a what do you call it? Gingerbread house contest. Like, hey guys, we bought some gingerbread. Everybody make a gingerbread house. We're going to have a contest. And then there was a guy at the seminary wearing a wig, and he was judging the gingerbread house competition. And I'm sitting there as a married man with kids thinking, what the H are grown men doing? Making a gingerbread house and having a competition with a judge wearing a wig. That's weird, right? And then everybody got on my case and said, what's wrong with baking gingerbread? What's wrong with gingerbread house? Nothing. I make gingerbread houses every year with my little kids, with my daughter, who's 9 years old. Oh yeah, let's put some frosting by the chimney. Oh, how about some Skittles? Oh, that'll look cool. That's because she's a little kid. I don't get together with the bros, my rosary group, my Bible study group. Hey guys, I just bought a bunch of gingerbread, Skittles. Come on over. We're gonna make gingerbread houses, and then one of you is gonna wear a wig and judge it. That's weird. But now at Denver, we took the weird to a new level. We took it to this level with a dude in a Yeti outfit, and then daggers and a blood oath. I mean, infiltration. I don't understand this. The priest said he's been falsely accused and it's a prank. It's just a prank, people. I'm a Catholic priest. I took 15 seminarians on a ski trip, woke them up in the middle of the night, took them out to an RV or a trailer, and had a dude in a Yeti outfit and a dagger and blood. So here's how the story continues. Each seminarian was then invited to sit at a table on which there was a dagger and what appeared to be blood in a dollar bill on a piece of paper. Okay. What? Here's that shot. Okay. I'll keep reading what's going on. There's a whole video of this, but Pillar didn't release it. In one video, the ritual seen by the Pillar, the seminarian is asked if he has any ideas what's going to happen, to which the seminarian responds, no. I would hope a seminarian would say no. Imagine you're asleep in your bed, your professor wakes you up, brings you out into a RV trailer, and there's a dude in a Yeti and a piece of paper and a dagger and blood. Hey, do you know what's about to happen right now? No idea. What? Quote, you are about to enter into a sacred tradition. Are you ready for it? The seminarian is also informed that, quote, people who come up here, and not everyone makes it, enter into the tradition. So we have a Catholic priest initiating seminarians into a sacred tradition. Here's the quote from the video. The way it works, quote, the way it works, the only way you can enter into this family is you got to make a blood oath, he is told in the video, while it is explained that the group startled with another seminarian whom they knew would not have the balls, quote, not have the balls to go through with it. We're hoping you have them too. So we got a seminary professor, Father Neple, he's challenging people saying, you got to have the balls to do this. Got a Yeti dude we got in a costume. Maybe this is where the whole Sasquatch legend came from. Maybe seminary professors had dudes out in the woods with Yeti outfits on, and they bring guys into the trailer with blood and a dagger. Do you have the balls to do this? You're entering into a sacred tradition. Father Neple. We're going to talk about Father Neple in a little bit. I'm just reading what is reported by the Pillar Catholic. The seminarian is also informed, this is according to Pillar, quote, people who come up here, not everyone makes it into the tradition. If you enter the family, there's no going back, the seminarian is told. Now, it's not pretty, as you can see, the seminarian is told, seated in front of a bloody surface and a knife. But if there is enough courage in there, we can get you through it. At this point, the seminarian nods his assent, and Father Neple can be seen leaning into the camera shot, holding a dagger, as the seminarian bares his left arm and places it on the table. Father Neple says, this is going to hurt for a second. Ready? Before counting down to 3, at which point a voice says, stop. There is another option. Like, what is this, Abraham and Isaac? The seminarian is then told that having already shown your bravery, the ritual can be completed with bear blood, not human blood. As grizzly bear blood is poured on his hand, the seminarian is told that there is no going back and is asked to make, quote, the most guttural scream you can possibly make. To show commitment to this tradition. As he screamed, the seminarian's is doing this. And this is my concern in seminary is they often vet out real men. They get company men who will go on with anything and everything. We need you to have altar girls at your parish. Okay. We need you to celebrate this LMNOP thing. Okay. We need you to pray with Lutherans at the ecumenical event. Okay. We need you to bare your left arm and be stabbed with a dagger and scream. Okay. What? I would have punched the dude in the nose. What kind of men are being prepared for the sacred priesthood of Jesus Christ our Lord? The true priest, according to the order of Melchizedek. This ain't it. Other images seen by the pillar, again, this is on pillarcatholic.com. Other images, this is from the video allegedly. Other images seen by the pillar show seminarians seated on a sofa with their mouths taped closed. The pillar has decided not to publish the video or other images of the seminarians involved out of respect for their privacy. They got duct tape on their mouth. This sounds like a horror movie. I don't watch horror movies. I don't want that garbage in my mind. But this sounds like, what would you name this movie? Yeti Blood Oath. 15 seminarians are startled when woken in the night. Their mouths are taped shut, and they are drawn into the trailer where a bloody oath awaits them. This October, experience the Yeti Blood Oath. Some weird trailer. Several sources, this is the pillar, quoting the pillar, pillarcatholic.com. Several sources with the events told the pillar that this was the second year in which the trip, including the blood oath exercise, took place with Father Neple, but that the previous year's event did not lead to complaints and no footage or documentation. 15 seminarians one year, I'm guessing 15. We got 30 seminarians who went through the Yeti blood oath. You might be thinking, this is just like college fraternities, pranks, whatever. These men are being trained for the holy priesthood. You can't take oaths as a joke. Come on now. Here's the verse. Here's what Jesus says on it. Matthew chapter 5, verse 34. Our Lord Jesus Christ, second person of the Trinity, says, "But I say to you not to swear at all, neither by heaven, for it is the throne of God, nor by earth, for it is his footstool, nor by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou canst not make one hair white or black, but let your speech be yea, yea, no, no. And that which is over and above these is of evil." And then add in a Yeti and some blood and a dagger and some bear blood. This is wicked. And it's led by a priest. 2 years he's initiated seminarians into what he calls the sacred tradition. Get out of here. Get out of here. If I were the bishop, he'd be out so fast. You're doing what with our seminarians, our future priests? You're initiating them into a blood oath and a sacred tradition? The videos and images of the 2024 trip were uploaded to a shared drive, access to which circulated among the wider seminary community, the archdiocesan clergy throughout last year. In a statement to the pillar, the Archdiocese of Denver said that the members of the St. John Vianney Theological Seminary community were filmed participating in a prank, being asked to take a blood oath and other imprudent behavior, like duct taping someone's mouth. Now, just imagine for a moment, if that was your son. Your son comes to you and says, "Mom, God's calling me to the priesthood." And you're like, "Wow, it's a big vocation, son." He's like, "I know. I've been for years discerning it. I'm going to go to seminary." And he goes to seminary and he's studying theology, he's studying philosophy, hopefully becoming a saint, a holy man. And then Father Neple takes him on a trip, duct tapes his mouth, brings him into a trailer, challenges him. Does he have the balls? That's the word, Father Neple. Do you have the balls to take a dagger into your left arm and enter into the sacred tradition with the blood oath? Imagine if that's your son. Let's do another one. Imagine someone like, oh, I don't know, Scott Hahn, Patrick Madrid, me, Taylor Marshall. Imagine we take a bunch of seminarians or young people on a camping trip, and a video comes out with one of the guys like us, and we've duct taped their mouth. We got a dude in a Yeti costume looking like a freak. We got a dagger. We got bear's blood. And we're telling these guys, do you have the balls to be in the sacred tradition? Scream as loud as you can. Put blood on your hand. That's what they have in them. That's what also told by the pillar. Imagine the outcry if a well-known Catholic layman had done that. Imagine if Scott Hahn did that. Imagine if Patrick Madrid did that. Eric Sammons, Carl Keating, Taylor Marshall. Can you imagine if Taylor Marshall did this? People would be saying, oh, he's the real infiltration. What the heck is he doing? He's a Satanist. He's a Freemason. And by the way, Freemasons, the initiation rites for Freemasons always include the initiation of a fake death, blood oaths. What the H actually is this? Can you imagine if I did this? Thousands of priests would be condemning me. And Father Neple, according to the pillar, say that he's been falsely accused. All right. Let me find that part here. All right. According to the pillar, again, I'm just going off everything from the pillar. All right. Everything I'm saying and reading is coming from the pillar. You can read the whole thing, pillarcatholic.com. But despite his repeated statements of responsibility and regret to the pillar, some in Denver charged that the priest had refused to take responsibility locally for the incident at Crested Butte or to recognize it as seriously problematic. After the investigation, here's a quote. The rector had asked Father John Neple when he was reinstated, so they took him out, now they've reinstated him, to make an apology about the whole matter and about the incident and about the video. Quote, so Father John Neple celebrates Mass the first week the seminarians get back from Christmas, and I think there is a recording of it. The whole sermon was centered about him being falsely accused and his fear about being falsely accused, and that it has finally happened in his own life. So Father John, he gets up in the pulpit after being on leave and says, I've been falsely accused. He had fear of being falsely accused, and now it's actually happened in his own life, according to the pillar. Goes on here, according to the source that I don't see is named. Quote, so he, Father John Neple, he didn't take responsibility or ownership for anything, but said he was just falsely accused and that he had gone through a really tough time in that whole Christmas season. Oh my goodness, he had a tough time. Had a tough time, people. Quote goes on to say, I'm not sure exactly what he was supposed to have been falsely accused of. The video of him holding a knife over a seminarian's arm isn't open to that much interpretation. Another priest noted that the seminary is in the middle of a multi-million-dollar capital campaign. If this guy is a professor, dude, I'm not giving money. And I would ask you to search your heart. Are you going to give money to the Yeti blood oath sacred tradition campaign? Because I'm not. Well, Taylor, it's different. No, this is a personnel is policy. Young men are being trained and being initiated into this. Well, it's just a prank. Is it though? 2 years in a row? Daggers, duct tape, Yeti costume? It's freakishly weird. A priest told the pillar, quote, this is from pillarcatholic.com, I'm not asserting as fact that those are related issues, but if the real concern of the Archdiocese is for people to stop talking about this and to leave as much undisturbed around the seminary as possible while this campaign is going on, that would make a kind of sense in a situation where not a lot makes sense. I am so amazed that something that looks straight up out of like a horror movie or a Harry Potter film is being forced on seminarians. With the challenge, according to Father John Neple, do you have the balls to do this? Questioning their masculinity, their manhood, their allegiance to what? To him, not to Jesus Christ, our Lord. These men are expected to live a life of celibacy, sacrifice, purity. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable if my pastor, when he was in seminary, was awakened in the middle of the night and taken to a trailer and said, you have the balls to enter the sacred tradition. We need to stab your arm and you need to scream. And a man who did all of that, I don't feel comfortable with him being my pastor. I don't feel comfortable with him being around my children. And it raises questions in my mind. Is this a blackmail? Does Father Neple know, hey, I've now got you on camera doing this for the rest of your life? When you're a priest, when you're a Monsignor, when you're a pastor, when you're bishop? I got a video of you with duct tape on your face with a dagger and a Yeti and a dude in a Yeti costume? Is this blackmail? Is this infiltration? The pillar also says it helped that Father Angel Perez was appointed rector, having conducted the investigation. He was able to reassure us how seriously the situation is being taken internally. And we know him to be a good priest and a formator, so there's a lot of confidence in him. Why is this guy still professor? As I understand it, he still is. That doesn't seem taking it seriously. Again, just imagine if Scott Hahn or Patrick Madrid, Eric Sammons, old guard lay guys did this. We would be denounced rightfully. We would be rightfully denounced. It's embarrassing. It's wrong. It's not Christian. It's not Catholic. And for this to happen in a seminary like it's some stupid frat party is false. We're going to now look at Father John Neple. Just did some background research on him just to find out who is this dude. Before I do, though, I want to honor this week's sponsor. And you notice I talk a lot about health. It's important. You know, I'm 47. I was out this morning with the cows. I was helping a mama, the newborn calf, get that calf on there, getting milk, you know, just looking after them. I got to be healthy. I got to be strong. I don't want to give up. And so I'm always looking at ways to improve my health. And a big part of it is the liver. The liver. Ancient people knew the liver was the most important. If you have, and also if you have an animal and has a bad liver, don't eat the animal. Everybody knows that. If the liver looks bad, you don't eat the animal. And so if you're feeling exhausted, struggling throughout the day, lacking energy, the culprit may be under your nose. It may be a sluggish, overworked liver. And that's because we have processed foods, environmental toxins, GMOs, microplastics, fluoride, all kinds of things. And your liver is in charge of filtering your body. And if it's getting overworked, it takes a toll. You lose your energy. And over 100 million Americans suffer from an overworked and sluggish liver, according to the American Liver Foundation. So 1 in 3 of you watching are suffering from an overworked liver. So I want you to reclaim your vitality. I want you to experience what I'm experiencing, and that is the liver health formula from our sponsor, purehealthresearch.com. It contains 11 powerful, clinically proven natural ingredients to detoxify and rejuvenate your liver, at the cellular level so you can experience more energy with an optimized metabolism. So I'd encourage you, reach out to purehealthresearch.com. There's a QR code on the screen. If you check out and use discount code Taylor, Taylor, you'll get 35% off your order when you order the liver health formula at purehealthresearch.com. Again, use discount code, promo code Taylor, Taylor. That's my first name, and you'll receive 35%. Just visit purehealthresearch.com. purehealthresearch.com, discount code Taylor, or you can click the link in the show notes below or use the QR code and get started with the liver health formula. Regain your vitality, regain your energy. Let's help out our livers in this toxic environment in which we live. All right, let's talk about Father John Neple. Never met him, don't know him, but I was like, okay, well, who is he? What does he teach? Has he written books? Has he written articles, etc.? And so I did a little research, and here is what I found out about Father John Neple. He's a Catholic priest of the Archdiocese of Denver. He's a member of the Priestly Association of the Companions of Christ, and he serves as the vice rector and professor of theology at St. John Vianney Theological Seminary in Denver, Colorado. He owns a doctorate in theology from the Pontifical University of the Holy Cross in Rome. He's an avid hiker, a mountaineer, and he has climbed all 54 of Colorado's 14,000-foot peaks, known as the 14ers, twice, and he's the co-host of the popular Catholic Stuff You Should Know podcast. His work often integrates theological reflection and his experiences in the outdoors, emphasizing the connection between nature, faith, and human formation. All right, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty Chad. He's climbed all 54 of Colorado's 14ers twice. That's cool. I like that, Father John. You know, we need some guys who are athletic. We need some guys who are outdoorsmen in the priesthood. I admire that. I think it's cool. I think it's based. Then I looked up what has he written, and he wrote a book that came out this year, not great timing, called To the Heights and Unto Depths, Letters from the Colorado Trail. And it's a memoir and theological reflection of his 486-mile hike through the Colorado Trail in 2022. He draws on thinkers like Dietrich von Hildebrand, which is cool, and Hans Urs von Balthasar. And when I read this, I said, oh boy, he's a Balthasarian. As you know, I am a stalwart crusader against Hans Urs von Balthasar. Balthasar is a formidable member of the Club of the Nouvelle Théologie, which emerged after the 1940s. Into the 50s, it was that Nouvelle Théologie, which is French for the novel theology. It was labeled that by the great Father Garrigou-Lagrange, who is the greatest Thomist of the 1900s and an inspiration for me personally. Father Garrigou-Lagrange says these new guys, especially these new Jesuits, they are infiltrating Catholic theology, philosophy. They are changing the definitions. They are creating ambiguity. They are bringing in backdoor modernism into the seminaries, and they must be stopped. Father Garrigou-Lagrange wrote an article about Nouvelle Théologie, and part of his sounding of the alarm, Pope Pius XII intervened with Henri de Lubac and began to make some corrections. Unfortunately, Pope Pius XII died in 1958. John the 23rd came, Paul VI came, and then all those Jesuits, all those liberals, modernists flooded in, and many of them were part of writing the documents of Vatican II, which, as we've discussed, have some ambiguities that people use to bring about a modernist agenda. So when I saw that Father John Neple is a Balthasarian, I was a little bit concerned. Apparently, he's also written something called A Bride Adorned, Mary Church Perichoresis in Modern Catholic Theology. He's written some articles called Human Formation, the Forgotten Pillar, It discusses the importance of human formation in priestly life, and he references, once again, Hans Urs von Balthasar. So he's writing an article on human formation in priestly life, and yet he's doing blood oaths with a Yeti and 15 seminarians and a dagger. And it's based on Hans Urs von Balthasar. Please join me in a clarion call, a crusade against Balthasar. He is the Origen of our time. Origen was a brilliant, smart, charismatic, academic theologian of the 3rd century, very prolific, influential on many of the good church fathers and saints. But he did slip into heretical notions, which were later condemned by ecumenical councils. And I see Balthasar, he also has a strong following. He emphasizes the aesthetic, he emphasizes the theodrama, but when you read his theology, it's very ambiguous, it's very fluid, it is not Thomistic. And every person I've ever met who was deep into Balthasar and loved Balthasar has very, got to be careful here. I'll just say the word I'm thinking of, screwy ideas about theology. So I'm reading this and I'm like, oh, this Neple dude is just full-on Balthasarian. He's actually written an article on human formation called Human Formation, the Forgotten Pillar, drawing on Balthasar. And yet he's in the woods duct taping seminarians' faces? Is that what's happening? Blood oaths? He wrote an article called The Peloton of Priestly Life, using the metaphor of cycling the peloton to discuss priestly identity. He wrote an article called The Business of Being a Pastor and examines administrative burdens on parish life. He wrote Unity of the Presbyterate against priests and their isolation. And then I thought this was interesting. He wrote an article called When Father Leaves the Priesthood. And he reflects on the challenges of priests leaving the priesthood, exploring themes of isolation, prayer, vulnerability, and the mystery of human condition. Father Neple argues that neither condemnation nor condemnation is sufficient, advocating for a deeper engagement with faith's mysteries. Okay, I don't like the idea. I mean, just personally, me reflecting here. Again, I haven't read the article. I don't want an article about priests leaving the priesthood. Maybe we shouldn't be promoting that. He also has an article from 2013 called Sense and Synodality. Synodability. There's synodality and he has synodability. He's obviously playing on the novel Sense and Sensibility. Sense and Synodability, in which he reflects on the Synod on Synodality, proposing that synodality represents a new ecclesiology. It discusses the church's self-understanding in the modern world, referencing Vatican II, John Paul II, communio theology, and a renewed Marian sensibility. Neple's testimony of his conversion from a zealous pagan lifestyle to Catholicism, sparked by a Steubenville of the Rockies retreat, is featured on a video by 1billionstories.com, filmed during a Mass atop Quandary Peak. The story highlights his journey through suffering and outdoor experiences of the faith. So, I forgot to mention his article, Sense and Synodability. Not only is it talking about synodality, the Pope Francis agenda, but in discussing the Synod on Synodality, Father Neple references von Balthasar's theological aesthetics, particularly his emphasis on beauty as a transcendental property of being that reveals God's glory. He connects von Balthasar's vision of the church as a reflection of divine beauty to the concept of synodality, suggesting that a Marian sensibility inspired by Balthasar's Mariology can guide the church church's self-understanding to modern ecclesiology. Father John Neple uses von Balthasar's framework to propose that the church's communal journey mirrors the beauty of God's revelation. And that's kind of how Balthasarian stuff says. It's a transcendental journey based on the aesthetic of God's glorious beauty and reflects the renewed emphasis on synodality for a modern self-understanding of ecclesiology based on the eternal yes of the Blessed Virgin Mary, according to Balthasar's communal journey, which mirrors the revelation of God as Father. This is the kind of Balthasarian theodrama gobbledygook. And this is why when I meet hardcore Balthasarians, you listen to them talk or give a lecture for 15 minutes and you're like, what are you saying? What are you even talking about? You're using the dictionary of Hegel and Heidegger and all this thought, and then you're just transposing it onto concepts like Paschal mystery and transcendent and aesthetic and the great beyond. And basically, for those of you that don't know Balthasar, if you listen to one of Jordan Peterson's, talks where he goes off on the self and the transcendent and the beauty and all that, if you take all of that sort of packaged height, I have a PhD in philosophy, but I refuse to talk that way. You take all of that lingo and then you just overlay it with the words like sacramental and transcendent and Trinitarian and Marian and aesthetic and drama. That's what you get with Balthasar. Don't like that. And I don't like that Father Neple that's his theology. I don't like it. So this is the part I wanted to get to. I wanted to leave time for comments and questions because I know y'all got some comments and you got some questions. In case you came in late, we're talking about this scandal that just rocked St. John Vianney Seminary. There is a priest who led 15 seminarians, according to the Pillar Catholic, to a trailer in which there was a guy dressed up like a Yeti. There was a dagger. There was paper. There was blood. They were asked if they had the balls to be stabbed in the left arm. They affirm it. Father John Neple is in the video. He set up the camera. My question is, why is he filming it? Why is he doing it? Did he read about it in Balthasar? I don't know. Is it transcendent beauty? Why is he doing it? Why is he filming it? And then why is he still at the seminary? 3 questions. Y'all try to answer them for me. Why did he do this for 2 years in a row? Why did he film it? What's the purpose of getting a video that incriminates these seminarians? They could be blackmailed for the rest of their life. They could be. And then why is he still at the seminary? And is this is a conservative, good seminary. Is this going on in our Catholic seminaries? Is this why we see a lack of masculine boldness in the priesthood and amongst the bishop? Because if we're wondering, why isn't our bishop speaking out against abortion? Or why isn't our bishop speaking out against LMNOP? Or why isn't our bishop doing this and that? Is it because there's a 1989 video of him in a blood oath Yeti ceremony or something similar? Is this what they do in seminary? Is this what professors do in seminary? They video you in compromising weird scenarios that you could never explain to the public. And then they're like, well, now that you're a bishop, you better go along with what we're trying to do, or I'm going to expose the Yeti blood oath video. And they're like, oh my goodness. If my diocese saw me as a 27-year-old seminarian with my sleeve rolled up and standing next to a guy in a Yeti outfit with a dagger and a blood oath, I'm toast. It's crazy to think about. This seems like it's some form of control. And the filming of it is just weird. It's just weird. So I'm going to handle the super chats first. NM says, a priest and a Yeti conducting occult ceremonies in a dark trailer sounds like a bizarre scene from a David Lynch movie. Not a fun time for the seminarians. It's weird, man. It's weird. You know? I'm a simple man. If this came out and it was like Father John Neple and 15 seminarians just crushed a case of beer and passed out, I'd be like, that's bad. Being drunk's a mortal sin, right? But I'd be like, let's let the seminary handle this. This is disciplinary. You can't have seminarians getting wasted. That's bad. But this, I don't know who David Lynch is. You said it's like a David Lynch movie. Let me know, who is David Lynch and what did he make? But yeah, this is, if I told this to my 9-year-old daughter, she would be freaked out and have nightmares. If I showed my kids these images, like, hey kids, at the seminary, look at this. This was happening at the seminary. Oh, look at this Yeti dude. My kids would be like, Dad, that's scary. I don't want to go to seminary. I don't want to go there, Daddy. My teenage sons will be like, Dad, what the actual H is this? I'm not going. I don't want to go to seminary because I don't want to have a Yeti breathing over me with a dagger. Taco truck engineer says, if I were the devil, I would do something like this and claim it was just a silly prank. It's just a prank, guys. I've been falsely accused. Again, just imagine if some stalwart, salt and pepper, gray-haired, old veteran in the Catholic space like Scott Hahn or Patrick Madrid. I'm getting there. Look at this. I'm getting there. Just imagine if the news came out that one of us had duct taped the mouths of seminarians and had a guy in a Yeti costume and said, do you have the balls to enter this sacred tradition, and pulled out a dagger? Can you imagine what would happen to us? My wife would freak out, actually. Joy would be like, what the beep? What the actual beep? A dagger? A blood oath? Duct tape across the mouth? Be like, Texas Yeti massacre. Texas Yeti massacre. What? Oh, man. Redux. This is another sign that more Catholics are becoming disenfranchised by a church willing to silently watch the persecution of its followers around the world. Tolerance is not a virtue. Justice is. You know what? After reading this story by thepillarcatholic.com, I'm wondering, maybe the bishops aren't just like yellow-bellied or spineless or effeminate. Maybe there's a Yeti video, right? Maybe they're controlled by seminary videos. Is this a I wrote infiltration. Never did it cross my mind when I was writing infiltration that there would be professors making weird occult videos with seminarians. Good comment, Redux. Real quick, if you haven't liked yet, there's 2,600 people watching live right now. 327 have liked. Right? That's not even 20%. All right? I'm just asking you. You don't have to put $1 in a jar. You don't have to give a tip, but you should like. All right? If the content is good, at least like. That helps me in the algorithm. I appreciate it. So hit that like button. You got to hit the like button. Costs you nothing. Here's how much effort it costs to hit the like button. Boom. Probably 0 calories exerted on that effort. So please like the video. Please share this video on X and Facebook. I am reporting what thepillarcatholic.com has reported. They're actually based out of Denver. So, I'm going off what they have said has happened according to witnesses. They've seen the video, apparently. They did not release the video, but they did show screenshots from the video. They said they did see seminarians with duct tape on their face. I don't see how Catholic lay people could give. I certainly would not give them. If they called me and said, "Hey, we got the annual seminary appeal. We're raising up young men in the priesthood, and we just want to know how much we can put you down for. I know last year you gave $1,000, and we appreciate that. Would you be willing to do that or more to help our seminarians reach the priesthood and minister to our diocese?" I'd just be like, Yeti blood oath. Peace out. I ain't paying for no Yeti blood oath seminarians. I don't want a pastor who had bear blood on his hands and duct tape on his face in a video. Super chat coming in from James. 200 of you hit like. Still not enough. You got to hit the like button. It's not hard. Hit the like button. James Delaney says, I wouldn't be in the situation because I can't see very well. So skiing and me don't mix. If I was, I'd probably quote Shakespeare. Is this dagger I see before me? I'd also walk back and sleep. No, I think I would. I'd be punching people in the face. All right. I probably shouldn't say that. If I walked into that trailer, it's 2 a.m. People woke me up. I'm like, why you wake me up, man? I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to hit those 8 hours of sleep every night. I gotta stay young. I gotta take care of that liver. All right. They wake me up and I'm like, what's going on? And then we go into a trailer and there's people with duct tape on their face, or they try to put duct tape on my face and there's blood and there's a Yeti dude. I'm just kicking A, bro. I'm going full jiu-jitsu. I'm going straight to the Yeti, double leg takedown. I know how to do it. All right. I'm a purple belt jiu-jitsu, 2-stripe purple belt jiu-jitsu. All right. I've done tournaments. I've won a gold medal, heavyweight jiu-jitsu. I know what's going on. The Yeti's down. I'm doing Scooby-Doo on the Yeti. I'm pulling off the mask. I'm finding out who that is. Who's in the Yeti outfit. I pull that mask off. I choke that dude out. All right. He's taken care of. Who's holding the dagger? That's going to be taken care of. Arm lock. Americana, arm lock. That's done. Choke out. And then I'm going to have to free the seminarians. I'm like, what are you guys doing, man? Rip the duct tape off. And then I'm calling the police. And I'm like, there's been an abduction. There's a Yeti here. There's a dude in a Yeti. And they're like a Yeti mug, a Yeti cooler. No, I'm talking about an actual straight up horror movie weirdo Yeti dude. This dude. If he wakes up, more choke out. All right. Jiu-jitsu. It's over. Toe locks. Leg locks. Kimuras. Americanas. Single leg takedowns. Double leg takedowns. Rear chokes. I'm not going to be in a video taking a blood oath. I'm not going to take a blood oath. It's not a video. I'm not going to stand in the frame with like a Chuck E. Cheese character, the white Yeti dude. No, he's getting choked out. Mask off, choked out. It's all on, dude. How based would that video be? Like Taylor Marshall seminarian, like I come in and I'm like, what the double leg takedown, rear naked choke, guys choking out. It's all on video. It'd be so awesome. I think if you do that, they're like, you're getting ordained and you're a Monsignor day one. You just automatic Monsignor. You took out the Yeti infiltration in the seminary single-handedly. We thank you. Pope Leo has already sent the letter. You're going to be ordained next week, and you're Monsignor day one. Thank you. You destroyed the infiltration, cleaned up the seminary. Thank you for what you've done. Luke S. Super Chat. Thank you for the Super Chat. Thank you, Doctor. Christ is King now and forever. Amen. Madeline where did this take place? Yetis reside in the Himalayas. This took place at somewhere in Crested Butte, Colorado. Crested Butte. I don't know. I mean, wink, wink. This was not a real Yeti. This was a Scooby-Doo episode Yeti. All right. That would be so base. I now want to like have a Jack Reacher series where it's like I'm a seminarian and all these like effeminate, gay, weird, occult things happen, and you just kick A, and you're like, then the Vatican appoints you as like the seminary visitator, like, oh, you're having a visitation, and then like I come in, it's like a black cassock or something, and then there's all these guys making like gingerbread houses, or they're having like a birthday party and there's like a Yeti there, and it's just like arm bars, get them, mask off, the Yeti busted. It's like who's under the Yeti mask? Oh, it was Monsignor John. Never would have thought it. Taylor doesn't know David Lynch. Don't know him. Don't know who he is. Tell me who he is. Bub's family videos. Maybe the Yeti was in charge and had something on the father. Who knows? Who is the Yeti? Who wants to sponsor me in writing a Jack Reacher seminary thriller where this dude just comes in, he's just like jiu-jitsu, Kimura arm lock, all the heretics and modernists. B. Tracy says he films it for future control of the future priest through blackmail. I don't understand any other reason for filming it. Like what? He's hanging out, one night, and he's like, I'm bored, and he's like going through Amazon Prime. There's nothing on the night. Oh, I wish I could watch something interesting. Oh yeah, I have that video of the blood oath with the Yeti. I'll watch that tonight. It's just recreational. He likes, once a year, go back and watch the Yeti files. Why is he filming this? And every one of those seminarians, this was the second year it happened. They're in the video. It's like, you get ordained and you're like, that priest, Father Neple, has a video of me doing a blood oath with a Yeti. I'm so screwed. And they're like, we need you to do the LMNOP Pride March this year, Father. And you're like, okay. And they're like, remember the Yeti? Wink, wink. Yeti. Or like maybe every year on your priestly anniversary. I wish I had one here. Oh, I do. Hold up. One moment, please. I'm back. They're like, happy anniversary, Father. We got you a gift. It's a Yeti mug. And you're like, oh. You're like, Yeti mug. You know what I mean? Wink, wink. We got you a Yeti mug. Father, we need you to do the ecumenical prayer service with the Methodists and the Lutherans. I don't want to do that. Happy anniversary, Yeti mug. Remember the Yeti. And then you look in the Yeti mug, like this would be in the Jack Reacher seminary. You look in you're like, oh, thanks. And you like go to take a drink, but there's blood in it. And you're like, whoa, weird. Whoa, Yeti. Elizabeth Kell says, time for a new book. I'm actually 200 pages into a book I'm writing. This is the problem. I get into writing books and it's hard to finish them. But I'm 200 pages into an action thriller novel in 1978. It takes place in 1978. It's about a Swiss guard who's working in the Vatican who uncovers corruption and a murder and a plot twist during the interregnum after the death of Paul VI. It's so cool. But I've got probably another 100 pages on it, and I got to finish it. That's kind of why I was like transitioning into the seminarian action hero. I've already written the novel on the Swiss guard action hero. Maybe I could have a whole like universe here. Be kind of cool. Roseanne, Yeti mug, I know. Happy anniversary, Father. Remember that time in Crested Butte? So much fun. Cheers. Yeti. Yeti for life. Don't forget the Yeti. Oh my goodness. Marion forgot about the Yeti brand. Of course, they didn't. They didn't forget about the Yeti brand. Oh boy. Brendan says, literally, dudes being silly. You're clearly overthinking this. No, bro. Brendan, I don't know who you hang out with. Let's say I'm hanging out with Joey, who's a moderator, he's a friend of mine, and Dan. He's also moderator, editor. They're on the live chat right now. I'm hanging out with Joey and Dan, and we'll throw in some other guys. And we're doing our Rosary Bible group, And then at a certain point, I leave like, hey, I'm gonna go get us some more drinks. Okay, see you in a little bit. And I come back, and I come back with a dude in a Yeti outfit and a knife and bear's blood. And I'm like, do you guys have the balls to do this? Let's go. And the other guys are like, this is kind of fun. Let's just be silly and like have fun. Cool. So edgy and cool. I guarantee you that Joey and Dan would probably do what I would do. They'd probably just tackle the Yeti and maybe kick me in the crotch. Like, dudes don't do this stuff. Like, married, normal guys are not like, let's do a silly, fun, occult ceremony in the woods in a trailer with duct tape on people's faces. Brendan, just get out of here. Just unsubscribe, dude. I'm sorry. If you think like that, there's problems. NM says, if Taylor did this, he'd have a guy dressed like a cow. What? Tie yellow ribbons around the seminarians and make them scream, deep in the heart of Texas, at the top of their lungs. Texas, right, y'all? I wouldn't do that. That would be better. But it's just cringe, When guys hang out, maybe you smoke a cigar or debate, is Pope Leo going to overturn Traditionis Custodes, or like have some like amazing barbecue brisket that somebody smoked, or some guys like the most effeminate it would ever come to is, hey, my wife made this tiramisu. You guys want to try it? And everyone's like, yeah, okay, we'll try it. That's it. And then people are like, man, I got to get up. I got 5 a.m. shift tomorrow. Oh yeah, I got to go too. I got to get up early tomorrow. I got to make money and support my family, or I got to drive my kids to school, or make bread. Yeah, me too. All right, let's call it up. You want to pray Hail Mary before we break it up? Yeah, let's do that. And then people get in their trucks and they go home. That's normal behavior. Man, they're just being silly. I don't want silly priests. Sven Anderson, PBD was great, but would you ever collab with Nick from Chicago? That would be great. I don't know. Depends context. He's Catholic, and certainly when you look at the political space right now, he's, his takes are on. So I don't know. Obviously, that comes with a lot. More chats coming in. Renee X, the devil is prowling the church. Always has, always will. Joey says, smoke cigar, talk church, eat Don Roberto's brisket or pork belly. Exactly. That's what happens. Okay? Daniel K says, I have a flashback of bar fighting in Europe and go beast mode. Laugh out loud. Yeah. It's, here we go. This is good. Philip, the church rejects blood oaths because they often involve superstition, secrecy, and sin. The Catholic should avoid them entirely and trust in honest, freely chosen commitments before God. I agree. If I were the rector of the seminary, I would say, Father Neple, you're done. I would actually move for him to be defrocked. It's just a joke. It's just being silly. This is a huge scandal. This is This is messing with the formation of future priests, not tolerated at all. He'd be removed. And then I would probably dismiss for 1 year the seminarians involved. If you went along with it, it shows a lack of judgment. It shows a lack of prudence. It's not the human formation. It's not the character we're looking for in our priests. We can't have men who are compromised. Yeah, but they're only 26. You're 26. You're a moral agent. I would say you're taking a year off, and then we'll reassess in a year. I think there's culpability with the seminarians as well. Yeah, but Taylor, the vice rector, told him to do it. Vice rector can tell me, anybody can tell me I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Another super chat? No more super chats. Madeline says, she's back. We need more priests, but not these immature guys. And whoever allowed it, unbelievable. Yeah, we don't need guys having pajama parties and gingerbread house contests and Yeti blood oaths and who knows what else is going on in these seminaries. I mean, the one in Denver was supposed to be the most conservative one. One smart broad here says, vows and oaths have significant meaning in the spiritual realm. These seminarians need to be led in prayer and break these oaths. I agree. It may just be a prank, but maybe it's not. What if it's not a prank? What if it is a blood oath? What if it was demonic? Now we have demonic pollution on our seminarians and on at least one priest and whoever was hiding in the Yeti outfit, whoever that dude is. We need to straight Scooby-Doo that dude. Mask off. Yeah, this is spiritual pollution in the seminary, in the priesthood. It must be cast out. Yeah, but Taylor, they're just having silly fun. No. It's not silly. It's not fun. At worst, it's demonic and occultish and satanic. At best, it shows imprudence, effeminacy, weakness, lack of will, not fatherhood, not spiritual fatherhood. Oh, here's a good one. Elizabeth Kale says, it's just a silly prank if you throw incense on the fire. Remember in the early church? They say, you Christians, we're not going to kill you. Just take 1 grain of incense and throw it in the fire to an idol of Caesar or one of the gods. 1 grain of incense. Your Jesus Christ won't care. God the Father, your God won't care. Take 1 bead of incense and throw it in the fire in front of the idol, and you get to live. You can go to church. You can be baptized. Your family will be left alone. You can read your Bible. You can do your prayers. Just put 1 grain of incense in the fire and we won't kill you. And the Christians said, Christos Kurios in Greek. Christ is Lord. And they said, all right, you're not going to do it? I'm not doing 1 grain of incense in the fire. And they're like, we're going to kill you. You know that? And they said, Christos Kurios. Christ is Lord. I said, all right, chain them. Take them away. And they were killed. They were fed to animals. They were burned alive. They were decapitated. They were shot with arrows because of not 1 grain of incense. And yet a seminarian is presented a dagger and blood and is said, do you have the balls to do this? And he goes through it. Sorry, you're not worthy to be a priest. You're not worthy to be, at best, take a year off, bro. Just 1 pinch. Just 1 pinch. You can live. Versus, do you have the balls to do this blood oath? Here's a good one. Therese Francis says, as a woman, I do not want to confess to that sort of priest. Me neither, as a man. If they have a video of him with a blood oath in a Yeti costume, they can also blackmail him to break the seal of confession. Hey, we want to know what so-and-so said in confession. I can't do that. Yeti, would you like a drink from my Yeti mug? Remember the Yeti? ugh, I have to do everything they said because I'm in a video with a Yeti blood oath. Serious, guys. This is exactly how secret societies work. They hold you in blackmail. This is how government agencies work. They get you in blackmail and they got you forever. Linda says, what would Father Ripperger say? I've already spoken to him about it. Mark says, sounds like an infiltrator. Super chat came in, shattering delusions. Saw the thumbnail. Yes, blood oaths are banned, period. But a lot of testimonials of Yeti, Sasquatch being demonic Nephilim, not a spiritual coincidence. Quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, is a duck. Yeah, all the Nephilim were killed in the flood. But yeah. Yeah, what is that? We didn't even discuss that on today's show. What is the significance of a Yeti? Why is this dude here? Somebody had to go buy that outfit and go put it on at whatever time it was at night. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., I don't know. Seriously. Imagine you called me up and said, hey, dude, we got this straight awesome prank. We got this guy's retreat, and we need you to dress up in a Yeti costume at 1 a.m. Bye. I'm not doing that. I'm not dressing up as a Yeti, bro. I don't think so. James says, hopefully the bishop will investigate him. Yeah. The Yeti fits perfectly in the world of the great sky bully. Don't know what the great sky bully is. Explain it to me. So anyway, there it is. I'd encourage you as a practicing Catholic to write the seminary. It's called St. John Vianney Seminary in Dallas, and express your disapproval and ask why was it filmed, and does this happen often, and is there a risk of seminarians and priests and future priests and current priests being under the cloak of blackmail? And how does this work out in the priesthood? And then also the bishop, Archbishop of Denver. Why is this happening in our seminary? Why are priests being formed like this? Has this been going on for years? Is this new? Why is Father John Neple, who was the vice rector, as I understand, and a professor, what is he teaching in the theology course? Has there been an audit? Are his lectures recorded? Have they been audited? Do we know what he's actually teaching these young men? Is it Orthodox? Is it Catholic? Is it wholesome? So I would encourage y'all to be active, be kind, show filial piety towards priests and bishops, but we also need to ask some questions here. And we need to, if this is happening, these infiltrators need to know that we're watching and we're on to them. Aliocha says, do you think the Yeti could have a symbolic meaning? If so, then what could it mean? I don't know. Is he a mountain demon? I don't really know what a Yeti is, except for they make mugs, I don't know. Is he a mountain deity? Is he worshipped? Do Tibetan monks venerate Yetis? I mean, they're in Crested Butte. They're in a mountain area. Yetis are associated with snow and mountain. They refer in the blood oath, we don't have to use human blood. We can use bear blood. So I don't think the Yeti's a bear. So I am a little confused about it. Last super chat is pray for more good holy priests, more religious vocations, and more good and holy Catholic families. That's right. That's right. All right. Visit our sponsor today, purehealthresearch.com, to get your liver health formula. Discount code Taylor, 35% off. Link is below. QR code's on the screen. Check it out. Pray your rosary every single day. Pray for our seminarians. Pray for our priests. Pray for our seminaries. Our rectors, our vice rectors. What's going on? Pray the rosary every day. You're not on the team. And, I forgot to mention, and that is, if you haven't pre-ordered Christian Patriot, get it. ChristianPatriotBook.com. You can pre-order it. We're trying to get a New York Times bestseller here. We want to shift the Overton window. We want conservative, so-called conservative politics to be conserving Christian culture, Christian ideas, Christian theology. No more degeneracy. We want sanctity. We want justice in the public square. This is the book I've written, The History of Catholic Philosophy when it comes to politics, and then 12 easy steps to create one nation under God. All right. Is MAGA enough? No. Is the Republican Party enough? No. Is being conservative enough? No. And I explain why in the book, and I give practical. So pre-order 3 copies. And when we pre-order all those buys, when it comes out the first week, all those will hit. And so we can maybe hit the New York Times. We'll see. All right. Pray your rosary every day. And remember, our Lord Jesus Christ is you're the light of the world and the salt of the earth. So go out there and be salty. God bless. Godspeed. Pray for our seminarians. Pray for our priests.